Hi guys, thanks for watching Food with Len. In this episode, I'm going to make homemade pancakes. Now you could use a box mixed, but you know, homemade is always better. Anyway, here's what I'm starting out with. I've got 1 cup of flour. I've already put that in there. And to my flour, I'm going to add 3 more ingredients. And the first is going to be 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and the baking powder is going to help it rise and give it that nice fluffy effect. Let me go ahead and get that in there. And the flour I'm using is self-rising flour. You could also use all-purpose flour, but if you did, you might just need a little bit more of the baking powder. Now, a lot of recipes call for a lot of salt, and it's like a teaspoon. And I've tried that and it comes out like a salt lick. I mean, it's just way too salty. So what I like to do is I'll use like a heaping 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And that's about as much salt as I need. If you like yours a little saltier, go ahead and do the teaspoon. I don't really recommend it, but you know, they're really inexpensive to make this, so do whatever you want. Anyway, I'm just going to mix all my dry ingredients together. Make sure everything's in there good and proper and no lumps of any one thing in one place. Alright, now that I've done that, I'm just going to build a little hole in the middle. And to that, I'm going to add, I've got 1 cup of milk here. Add that. And to that, I've already scrambled up an egg, or beat the egg, or whatever, and I'm just going to add that into there too. And I've got about 2 tablespoons of melted butter. But before I add that, I'm going to go ahead and get this started like so, because I don't want the butter to coagulate against the cold milk. So now that I've got it started, I'm going to go ahead and pour my butter in and just kind of bring it all together. You don't want to overwork the batter because then your pancakes will be tough. And nobody likes a tough pancake. So just work it in. If you got a couple of lumps, that's okay. And we're going to let this sit for 15 minutes while I get my griddle ready. And then I'm going to show you exactly how I cook them. Okay, we're back. My griddle's up to speed, and I've just lightly put some cooking spray on there, just very, very lightly, and then I wiped it off with a paper towel. It's a non-stick griddle, so chances are I'm never going to have a problem with it, but I put a little in there anyway. Also, I've got butter in the batter, so here I'm using a 1/4 cup measuring device. Usually I'll just put it in like a measuring cup and just pour it out to my liking, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to just use a 1/4 cup on each one. And I'm going to do 3 because 1/4 cup is a little bit larger than I normally make, but it'll work out just fine. Remember to flip them in the order that you put them on, because this one here, the first one, is actually been cooking about a minute longer than the third one. So what we're looking for here is we're looking for bubbles that crater up, and it's going to be dried around the edges, and the bubbles that we have, they're going to actually be open. Anyway, let me give this a couple of minutes and I'll get right back to you and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, my pancakes have been going for a few minutes now, and as you can see what I'm talking about, these crater holes where the bubbles just popped and it didn't fill back in. That's it, the craters are there. So I'm going to flip it over. And that's about perfect. I don't like mine too brown at all. So you get those 2. And I put that one on last, so that one's got to go for another minute or so. Now these go really quickly on the second side because you've already heated the batter and everything's coming together like that. This one here is probably going to be a little light because, like I said, it was the last one that I did. I don't think it's been the same amount of time. Plus I'm seeing not seeing a whole lot of bubbling on there. But the baking powder is what causes those bubbles, and letting it stand is a good thing. Of course, I flipped it right on top of the other one. Awesome. So anyway, we'll give that a minute or so on that side. If you don't have one of these griddles, you can always use any kind of flat non-stick pan, or for that matter, even a cast iron skillet. What you're cooking on really doesn't matter so much as it's flat, and you want to have it on medium high so that you know, you're not burning it, but you're getting it completely done, and then they're nice and light and fluffy. So I look for a color like this. A lot of pancakes you see on videos have a darker color, but just about anywhere I go to get pancakes, they look about like that. So I'm liking that color right there. And here's what we got for the bottom. A little more to the brown. So that's about perfect for me. Let's see if I can pull this one off without leaving sticky on that one. Okay, great. And you see how that looks there. Let me just turn that over. Unfortunately, this griddle here has kind of hot spots and all. You can get a better griddle, but this is like a $20, $30 griddle, depending where you go. And they're really nice to have. Great for cooking bacon, pancakes, things like that. So I think we're about there. So I'm going to go ahead and stack these on the plate, like so. Now you'll notice that these came out a little thin, and that's because my batter is thin. If I had made my batter a little bit thicker, they would be thicker, but I kind of like thin pancakes, so this is what we got. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take a thumbnail shot of this, and then I will come back and try them out. Okay, there you have it. I've gone ahead and put some butter on it, put some syrup, and let's give it a taste. Grab this little piece of butter here, put that on here. Light, fluffy, delicious. Well, I hope this video has inspired you to make your own pancakes at home. Now remember, if you want them thin, more milk, less flour. If you like them thick, and I don't really care for them that thick myself, that's why I made them this way. More, less flour, a little bit more milk gives you a thinner pancake. So you can determine the thickness of your pancake by how much flour versus milk that you put in. If your mix seems a little watery and thin to you, add more flour. If it seems a little thick, add more milk. Simple as that. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it inspired you to make some, and if it did, please let me know how they turned out in the comments down below. Look forward to seeing you in my next video. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and have a great day.